Alrighty.
Hey, everybody. Great to have you here. We're doing things a little bit different. I apologize for my scratchy throat. I just woke up. It's 4 in the morning in New Zealand. We're going to do things a little bit out of order because Sage can only be with us for half an hour. So we're going to start with the interview first, and then when she has to leave, we'll do the what's new at the VAT and sort of a round robin of where everybody is. So because it wasn't clear whether I was going to be here or not, I was I pulled myself up at 4 in the morning, but Bob is already prepared to be doing some of the interviews. So I'll turn it over to Bob.
Oh, yikes.
And can you introduce this
Alrighty.
week's guest?
Well, hi, everyone. We have here Saige Wilson, and she has been our summer intern. I think your term is up now, isn't it?
Yes.
I wanted to send something to you yesterday so bad. I missed having you. I fed her so much stuff to post. It was awesome. I hope you weren't overwhelmed. But she was our summer intern. She started, when was that? End of May, early June-ish.
Yeah, like early June.
And so tell people about you. She's going to Fordham. What made you pick Fordham?
Yeah, so I'm a rising senior at Fordham University, the Rose Hill campus. And I just knew that I always really wanted to go to school in the city, and Fordham is in the Bronx, but it's really special because they have like a really nice big campus. So I have that and the luxury of being able to go to the city. So
Where are you from originally? Where did you grow up?
I'm from New Jersey and I grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And for the people who don't know the New Jersey area, how long of a commute is it from Elizabeth into Fordham if you were to try to do that staying at home?
Um, it probably really maybe like 3 hours on the NJ Transit. Like, yeah,
It's not that far away on the map, but
yeah.
So
indeed.
what are you studying there?
I'm a film and television major, and I have a minor in digital technology and new media.
That is really cool. We had somebody with similar skills want to do a promotional video for the War and Astronomical Society, and they interviewed all of us and produced it. And it's really awesome. Now I know you interviewed Brother Bob Mackey for something that's still in a work in progress, but how'd that turn out, or how's that going?
Yeah, it's good. He's so cooperative, and um, yeah, I approached him with the idea of the day in the life video, and he was really receptive to it, and we've been in communication ever since. So hopefully that will be coming soon.
Awesome. So how did you find out about the internship program at the VO? I don't even know. I just said I was told, "Here's our new intern." I'm like, "Awesome!" But I never even thought about how you were found.
Yeah, so I found out through Fordham. They sent an email out about the job posting to all of the communication students, and like new media minor students. And then from there, I applied.
Did you have other offers? Were there other internships that you applied for? Did we win out over something really glamorous?
Like a celebrity death match or something like that.
No, yes, I was applying to other internships, but this one, I just really wanted to do this one, so.
So
Why?
Because this was my first opportunity to do social media professionally, and I was really interested in that and appealing to a different audience than what I was used to. I just love a challenge, so I just wanted
What 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 in particular did we have you doing?
to. um, Definitely just making posts, creating like KPIs, just taking track of all of the metrics.
This is as bad as astronomy. What's a KPI?
It's a key progress indicator. So just like showing basically all of our analytics and how the account has grown since I've started making posts for the account.
How has the account grown since we started making posts?
It's grown very good. I think when I started, we were looking at about 13K, and now we're very close to 15, which I think is
awesome.
great. And our engagement is up so much on the Instagram, which I think was like um, my biggest responsibility. So it felt really nice to like see that come to fruition.
Well, if you look around, you'll notice most of us who at least still have hair, hi Larry, have very gray hair. We're not the ones who are likely to be looking at Instagram. Who is the audience that you're reaching?
Yeah, I would say our biggest audience was probably 35 to 45 on Instagram. But I definitely was trying to get all of the same like effects and engagement factors onto the Facebook as well, because I know that that's where like we also have a lot of engagement from like maybe like 50 and
Mhm.
plus.
And do you think these people are going to stay after you leave? I mean, are they just coming because of you, or
I would
are
hope
they coming
so.
because of us?
Well, I was for the mission, so it should be for us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did your family think when they found out you'd been accepted? And did they go like, "You're gonna do what for the Who now?"
Yeah, well, they were really happy for me. I was on vacation, which was funny, and it was like a rare moment of when I actually had Wi-Fi that I received the email
Mhm.
like enough. So I was like, they were really excited for me. But yeah, they were kind of like, oh, like, what is the Vatican Observatory? Like, we understand like the social media part, but like, what does that entail? So I definitely just had to explain that to them, but they were really, really happy for me.
Awesome.
What did your friends think?
They thought it was really cool because they had like no idea what it was, and they were also like, how'd you even find this job? And I was like, literally through our school. So
Mhm.
yeah.
How many of
So,
us have you had a chance to actually meet in person?
None actually. I've been fully remote since June. So yeah.
And you've never, not even met Chris Kennedy?
No, but I think I'm meeting with Chris soon.
Yeah, we're going to change
Okay.
that very soon.
Okay.
Actually, and Guy, probably when you're in New York next month, we can all get together. But yes, my apologies, Sage, for not
Yeah.
for not seeing you sooner. But I figured it'd be more convenient when you were actually in New York as opposed to being
Yeah.
in the desolate wasteland of the Garden State.
so,
Right.
so Sage, this obviously, this we're a different group. What were you expecting, and how were your actual experiences different than what you were expecting?
Well, I have, like I said, I've never done social media professionally before, so I didn't really have any like expectations per se. You know, I was just kind of going in just like new, ready to learn, like and ready to do the job. But I would say like it was kind of almost what I expected because I knew I was going to have to appeal to like a different audience. So like I was kind of just like, oh, okay, like um I'm ready to create content for this like demographic, and you've definitely helped so much, Bob, with that.
Oh, geez. So in that, I threw a lot at you. What was there any of the astronomy stuff that was thrown at you that just made you go, "Wow, that is really cool"?
Yeah, definitely when I seen the gallery of all of the photos, I was just like every time I see any of the pictures that I'm able to post, I'm just in awe because it's just amazing that we can even capture these things like with the telescope and on camera. So yeah, I would say probably every post I was like, wow.
Mhm. Well, when you post these things, I guess depending on the medium, you will get feedback from the people who are reading in some way or another,
Yeah.
or people will comment, or people will ask questions. What seems to surprise them the most, the people that you're reaching? To put it a
Um,
different way, what draws the eyeballs?
Yeah, I would definitely say I think like the biggest thing has been, which is like so small, but the biggest thing has maybe been like the music component. Like I've noticed that like as I've added like songs to posts and like more like video content, like that just gets like
Hmm.
more engagement and people will just be like, oh wow, like this is an interesting song, or like, oh like I like the song. And that also gets it more reposts I've seen that people would like repost it to their stories as well because it's just like kind of aesthetically pleasing as a whole. So
That completely surprises me. I would not have
Yeah,
expected that at
right.
all.
I know.
What kind of music? What songs?
Definitely songs that are like on theme. Like I remember I had made a post about Saturn and I used the song Saturn by SZA. Like so definitely things that are related to the post
Mhm.
itself.
I'm sneezing. I hope this is not ruining the recording
Oh,
here. I
bless you.
apologize for that. I have to mention, I've been on radio a few times here in New Zealand,
Mhm.
and they also are asking me more than once. I've been asked for what songs do you want to have to go along with it. There's a Pink Floyd song I use a lot called Astronomy Domini, which is, Latin and astronomy and Pink Floyd. So it shows my age. Of course, I can brag that I saw Pink Floyd back when I was in college, but then I don't tell them how long ago that was because that's kind of scary. So I think that connection between music and astronomy might be a stronger connection than I would have thought. Well, there's of course, the so-called music of the spheres, the the supposed harmony that comes up also in the variations and the rhythms of orbits and resonances of orbits of planets. I'm babbling now, mostly because I'm just so utterly surprised and amazed by that.
Yeah.
Are people that you're writing to mostly aware of the fact that there is a Vatican observatory?
Yes, I would say that was what I was definitely trying to do, like grow our reach, like to reach people who actually didn't know like what the Vatican was, so like they would come across it and engage more. But I would say definitely our main audience has like is in that realm, if that makes sense.
They're already sort of on top of who we are and what we're about.
Yes, yeah.
I just
What
posted a
was the
link.
thing up? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just posted a link in chat. I use an app called Space Engine, and it's pretty cool. But it's got music from this fellow, Astropilot, which I'm also listening to on YouTube Music. But it's spacey music that goes very well with just touring the universe.
Hmm,
There's a lot of it out there like that, and
right.
I can understand what Sage is saying about adding music on that. There's something on Buzzsprout that when you upload a new podcast, it asks you if you want to create a promo thing, and it will ask you if you want to use music in it. So that's pretty cool.
Hmm. Was there any interest, the fact that you're doing this and it's the Vatican and we have a new pope? Was that something that people had expressed an interest in? And did you talk about that in the posts?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was honestly one of my highest engagement posts. One of the posts about when the Voss had the opportunity to meet Pope Leo. That was like maybe our highest performing post of the summer. So yeah, I would say that definitely really helps a lot.
What was, in some ways, this is an embarrassing question, but what's the one that you thought people would really, pay attention to because it grabbed your attention and it didn't grab theirs? Was there any that you said, "Oh, if only I had known or had done differently"?
Uh, yeah, I think when I was like first starting out, I had created and edited like this reel for just like one of the postings of photos of like a nebula. And I just thought it was like really like engaging and cool. But it actually didn't like really get that much engagement. So I was like, okay, but this was also when I was starting out. So I was just like, maybe I have to adjust my approach.
What did you do? How did you change the approach?
I kind of just maybe I was feeling that the video was kind of what I was used to, like trying to appeal to more so like people my age. So then I was thinking maybe like longer formed videos with like less editing and more just like raw footage and things of that sort. Just like the videos with Pope Leo usually do better. So yeah.
Okay. What did you learn about the Vatican Observatory that you didn't know when you started this job?
Hon-
Besides everything.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I honestly learned everything. But if any, I would definitely say I didn't know about the research being done there. Like I just think that that is like really interesting to see, especially collaborating with Bob Mackie, and he's telling me like and showing me like all that he does like just in a simple day. Like um, that was really interesting to me. So yeah.
It's funny you should mention that because when I met Brother Guy, it was at a convention and he was in Bob Mackey's position as curator of meteorites, and he was talking about
That's how long ago that was.
how he was studying meteorites. And I'd been just collecting them for about 5 years, rocks from space. They're really cool. And I went away with a completely different appreciation for how cool meteorites were. So that's how I met Brother Guy.
Yeah. Well, you have here on the screen people who are many times engaged in telling our friends, engaged in the general public. If you could come up with 3 lessons that you want us to learn from your experience of having done this, what are the first of all, what are the stories that you think we should be telling? What is going to grab people's attention? We can't sing, so we can't do the music ourselves.
Oh my God. Um, well, the music doesn't really have to be like singing because I would say definitely I think video formats and like more reels and like videos can definitely just are so good for engagement and really get the word out there if you're looking to like expand your reach. So that's maybe one. Um,
Is there
two.
a particular story? Is there a particular uh, factoid about the observatory that's worth emphasizing?
Yeah, I would definitely, as I said, like definitely, I think all of the research being done there, which is why I'm trying to get the day in the life video out so that like people can just like see what really goes on because like often when people don't really know what an organization is, they usually just don't know like what they do. You if that makes sense. So I
Mhm.
feel like just showing like people getting like to a more personal level of just like these are just like the people here doing the work. I feel like it just gives people more of like a welcome feeling. Like
Okay.
yeah.
Just seeing that there is research and being able to explain it in
Yeah.
some ways. Right. I have a feeling that a lot of what we do is telling people that there is an observatory, and we forget to tell people what an observatory is.
Some
This is a
things
great lesson for us.
I'm putting together a spreadsheet right now that I'm trying to keep track of all the new research papers that are coming out from VO staff and adjunct scholars, and then I want to go back and get as many as the past ones as I can, just in one place, and just some of the stuff being studied. I tell my mom-in-law this all the time. Some of the stuff being studied by VO staff and scholars is just like right up here, and just amazing.
I think you're about to react to that. I've just done. What is the stuff that you find amazing? What was the bit of research that, just made you most surprised?
Um, I know I just like keep talking about it, but definitely what Bob Mackie was telling me with his like meteorite research, like I just thought that was like so interesting to see like how like I never even heard of like keeping track of like a meteor and things of that sort. So I was just like really interested because I did take astronomy in school like just recently this last semester, but it's very surface level, and general and the basics. So it was really interesting to see like this like specifics and how far they go.
Hmm. So we've only got you for another 10 minutes or so. So if people in the audience have questions, feel free to type it into the chat. Or it's a small group today, so you can actually just wave your hands. Um, but one thing I know that we want to know is now what are you going to do? You've got one more year
Yeah.
left. You're
Yeah.
going back to school. When does school start?
I start school on the 25th, so I only have
Okay.
a couple more weeks. Yeah.
If you come across a freshman by the name of Chan Floney, that's my grandniece.
I remember.
Right, and she's going to be a freshman this year, so wave when you see her.
Definitely.
So you've got one last year. What are the courses you've still got to cover before you can graduate?
Yeah, I've like thankfully finished most of my core requirements. So now I have more major like classes, like history of television, script writing, things of that sort. And then hopefully next steps will just be 3 more years of film school.
What is your planned future? You're going to go to film school.
Yes, and I really like to major in screenwriting, because that's kind of my end goal. I really want to be in the writers' rooms, the script writers. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to meet any of the Jesuits while you're at Fordham?
Yes, yeah. The Jesuits at Fordham, they do this really nice thing called Java with Jesuits, and every Thursday they like all get together and they sell coffee. And I've had such good conversations with some of them there and enjoyed a good cup of free coffee.
Are these the younger ones or the older ones?
Yeah, they're definitely young. Like some of the ones I've talked to, were telling me how they're also still in school. So it was interesting.
Yeah, there is a number of the Jesuits. To be a Jesuit, you have to take a philosophy,
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes a philosophy degree, and so there are a number of the younger Jesuits who are at Fordham getting their philosophy on the way to ordination.
Mhm.
Do you dare name any of the names, or is this
Um, I don't remember like last names, but I do remember I did meet this one Jesuit and his name was Joe, but I
okay?
don't remember his last name.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mhm.
So wait, wait, a question. Do you intend on share your VO experiences with your classmates?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes, definitely. Especially in my media classes for my minor, I can talk about my summer doing social media professionally.
Yeah,
So
point
Okay.
them our way.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you're going to a Jesuit school, you've met these Jesuits. Do you come from a Catholic background yourself?
Yes, I went to Catholic high school and yeah, my family and I are Catholic.
So the idea of astronomy and church was not foreign to you, I hope.
No.
All right. Do you find that? Is that something that people are still surprised on, especially in the social media?
Um, I would say within the social media, people are really accepting towards it. And I was wondering about that because I was wondering about how I was going to be able to convey the connection between two things that are often like put against each other, which is like science and religion. But I think like our audience really knows that good like middle ground of just like the intentions behind our research. And I feel like that's definitely where it was easy to translate.
I'm interested to hear that. I've noticed in especially the last 5 years, very much less that idea of, oh my gosh, you can't be doing this because you're that. People know that they're supposed to think that, but they don't. And especially, I mean, to my mind, younger audience, you're talking, 35 to 45, which is still older to you, but they're definitely younger than the people I've noticed, been engaged with before. And I think there is a shift in what people's attitudes are about the relationship between faith and science. And maybe I'm thinking this is something that we need to be more nimble about. That if we spend all of our time in public outreach saying no, there's no conflict, people are going to say, oh, there's supposed to be a conflict? I didn't know that. And you might wind up generating the very thing that
Mhm.
you're trying to avoid.
Yeah,
Because in a sense, we may already have won that battle, and now we have to look towards what the next battle is.
yeah, definitely.
Now, Linda, I saw you and Paul whispering with each other. Did you have some comment you wanted to throw in on that?
I actually agree with you, Guy, that we may have won that battle already, and that
Mhm.
I don't think people think that as much as they used to about the conflict.
What's your evidence? What's your experience in that?
It's just people that I talk to. You're the one I hear say it most. I don't really hear it from anybody else, frankly.
Interesting.
The other thing I would say is, Sage, I agree with you completely that video is the way to go. And what would you say, Sage, about a series of short video clips of Brother Guy engaged and enthusiastic the way he is, How would that work as little snippets on the various platforms that we're engaged on?
Yeah. So I would say definitely for series, the easiest thing, like if you're not um looking to constantly create reels, you can just take videos on stories and they could be posted to both Facebook and Instagram. And you can also add them to highlights to kind of just like keep them there on the account that people can access at like a later date. So you can just like create like maybe like a weekly series, and every week like you can post like little videos of further guide doing whatever you like. And yeah.
How little is little, and how much work would something like this require? Are we talking a 5 second thing or a 5 minute thing or what, something in between?
um
I just don't know the format. I'm not even
yeah,
picturing what this would be like.
well, usually for stories the limit is 1 minute, so you're looking at like a minute video. And for reels, if you'd like to post that like weekly, I think the limit is 5. So
Okay. I point out that Paul, who's mentioning this, sort of is retired but has been doing this for a living himself. And so when he says this is good stuff, he's not just, a guy out there in the street. It's somebody who's been doing this professionally. So
yeah.
I'm gonna miss you. Gonna miss having you work with us.
right. I'm hoping you're planning to stay in touch with us at least.
Of course, yes.
And have you already started applying to film schools and scripts?
No, the applications open in September, so
Okay.
that's probably when.
I'll mention in passing, we've only got about a minute left, but it there was a friend of mine from when I was a postdoctoral fellow and doing research at MIT, and there was a woman who was finishing her doctorate in planetary science, but was kind of burned out on it, and her dream was to be a screenplay writer. But she was already 30 years old and thought she was too old. She then actually took a class. Her husband got a research job in California so she could be close to Hollywood. She took a class, and one of the people in the screenplay class finally sold a script. And everyone was really excited, except it was a script to the comic, the cartoon The Smurfs. And she said, if that's the best I'm ever going to do is, hey, Smurfy, this is cool, then maybe she should rethink her careers. So I hope you can do better than the Smurfs.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're into the last minute. If there's any more questions or comments,
So I
I
imagine this
just
is
want
going
to
to be
say,
an interesting point on your resume.
Yeah.
People are going to be asking you about what's that?
and you got to do something to make you stand out from all the other people applying. So I hope that works. All right. Well, according to my clock, it's 4:30 in the morning where I am, which I guess makes it 12:30 yesterday where you are.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks a whole lot, Sage, for being with us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys so much, honestly.
Okay. And if there's one last message you want us to hear from you, what would it be?
Oh, um, mm, that um, I think that you all are such a great team and you all have so much personality, and that should definitely be relayed more onto the Instagram.
That's good to know.
Mm,
Thanks a whole lot for the work you've been doing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And at this point, we should go around and tell everybody else sort of how things are and where people are. Bob, where are you and what's the weather?
I am in southeastern Michigan, and well, it was clear this morning at 3:30. I could not see a single star, and the moon was like this weird orange color, the full moon in the sky. So yeah, we got smoke. Perseids are
Okay.
probably going to be awful this weekend.
I'm in New Zealand. It's been raining pretty heavily here and chilly. about 5 degrees, because it's, of course, wintertime. 5 degrees Celsius, maybe 45 or so, 40 to 45 Fahrenheit. But you do see the moon every now and then through a hole in the cloud. The most spectacular sky I saw was 2 weeks ago when it was new moon, and I was doing my silent retreat at the Jesuit Retreat House in Adelaide, which also happens to be a winery, and was way north of Adelaide, very, very dark sky. The first night I went into the little cabin that they had for me, I stepped outside and I swear I could see my shadow from the Milky Way. It was so bright.
Mm.
And the Southern Cross was, staring down at me, and that was just lovely. So speaking of people in the wintertime, Carmen, what's it like where you are?
A harsh winter, 10 centigrades the maximum. A cloudy sky, but I could see the moon and all the silhouettes of the things inside it. And today, a little bit after sunrise, I could see Venus. That was wonderful for me. Yeah, because I had my application that shows me everything behind the clouds, but this time I could see it. And Guy, I wanted to ask you whether we will go on with this meetup in your new position. That we
Ah.
can be.
I guess I should mention that for people who haven't been paying attention, the directorship of the observatory has a 5-year term attached to it, and my second 5-year term, ends in the middle of September by a nice coincidence on my birthday.
Oh, which
And
day?
so-
Which day?
Which is the 19th of September.
Okay.
I'll be 73 then. If I had stayed on another 5 years, it means I would have been doing this job until I was 78. And I do have 2 other jobs, though. I'm also trying to be a research scientist, and I'm president of the foundation. This meetup, is actually an activity of the foundation.
Great.
And I will continue as president of the foundation, and therefore we're going to keep meeting up, and you're still going to be getting newsletters from me, advertising. So that will not have changed.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Larry, is it cold and shivery where you are right now?
Yeah, it's cold and shivery. It's only supposed to get up to 105 Fahrenheit, which is 40 something centigrade. We've had 2 days. Yesterday or day before yesterday was 112, and day before was 111, which are both records. It's supposed to be cool now, 99 or 98 for average temperature. So for 112 is hot even for here. It rained this morning.
I was going to say, are you getting any monsoon?
Half of what we would normally get. I mean, the rain barely. I mean, you could hear the rain on the roof, and you would go outside, and it didn't even show anything on the ground. So, we had half an inch of rain 2 weeks ago, something like that. Probably when Paul was on the telescope.
So, Paul and Linda, where is it? What's it like where you are?
So we're lucky that the haze has cleared. It's very sunny, and we have it's Allentown, Pennsylvania, of course. We have 78 degrees now, beautiful blue sky, and we did have a big full moon there at night.
Okay, Margaret.
Well, I'm not that far from Bob, so the temperature is about 28 C. And I also want to thank Carmen for the question, because I was also wondering about that, and tell Larry that he has a wonderful background.
Yes,
Yes.
this is the moon from June 12th, I think, which was the day after the standstill. So the moon was as far south as you could get. And that's taken from the Vatican telescope, looking sort of at the large binocular telescope, which is just to the left.
Wow.
That way. It's backwards, but yes.
So I haven't seen much of anything because I haven't been outside all that much. I've been trying to get work done before we leave.
Okay. Chris.
Yes, I have my screen off, my camera off, because my background right now, which would usually be a nice office background, is laundry that's drying. So that's what I've been looking at mostly. Post vacation.
Right.
Yeah, New York. It's been smoky and cloudy, so I haven't seen much, I'm afraid.
You were in England for your vacation, right?
Yeah, I was in England. And I was mostly in the larger cities, so I didn't get to do too much stargazing there. But it was nice when I was on a sailboat for one night, and there was then I actually got to see some stars. A good reminder that they exist, which people in New York often forget.
Joseph.
Hello. Well, I'm in Austin, Texas. I just got here yesterday in the afternoon, and not only is it above 100, it is humid, so we're sweating pretty well. I did have the privilege of meeting Father D'Souza at Pam Snyder's house. She hosted a mass for us, and I was very appreciative of that.
Excellent. Joel.
Well, I'm just back from France, and of course, just a little ways south from where Larry is, and it's been incredibly hot coming back from the nice, cool French weather. But it's good to be back and finally begin to see a little sky. And want to thank you, Guy, for the wonderful job you've done. And I'm really glad to hear you'll be continuing with these meetings. You do a terrific job of facilitating.
Okay. Thanks. Pam.
Well, as you may know, we've broken some records, heat records, the past week that they fell after umpteen years, many years. And it's very hot, but I did go outside last night just to cool off the garage. I opened the garage doors, and the moon was absolutely beautiful. And there were stars around and very clear. So very thankful. And
Well,
Guy, thank you for your service. And of course, I'm happy you'll continue in one of your several roles.
One of my hats. But you're saying records. I haven't heard the numbers. What kind of numbers were you reaching?
It was 116. I honestly, I blanked my ears out because it was so incredibly hot. But we had 2 days that broke records. Larry referenced it. Of course, it's cooler in Tucson by a few degrees. It was really beastly hot.
Maureen, where are you? And what's...
Well, here I am in Manhattan. I managed to see the full moon, but not much else. We've had smoke from Canadian fires coming down over Manhattan, New York, so we don't see very much of anything. But on a brighter note, I did send several members of my family to North Carolina armed with a telescope, and tell them, will you please report what you see from the backyard, since I never get to see anything. And thank you again for your service. And actually, I met you because of that wonderful video with the eclipse. So I think I'm just,
of course.
Yeah.
And Gary.
Hi, I'm up in Milwaukee. By the way, delightful conversation there with Saige. That was just wonderful. And good news about you, Guy. In Milwaukee here, not as hot as some places. We're going into the 90s today, but it's been clear. And so earlier this week, a little moon observing through a telescope. And then last night we went down to the Lake Michigan, to watch the moon rise over there. We do have that smoke, so very red moonrise and sunset.
Right. And so, Paul, we'll end up. Can you tell us what's happening with the vet this summer?
Well, everybody seems to be griping about how hot it is, so we decided to take a part of the vat and put it in a freezer this summer. Well, I'm kind of joking, but the freezer is true. So there is a part of the telescope called the instrument interface, which goes between the telescope and the science camera that takes the actual pictures. It's kind of a boxish-like thing, but it's like a large hat box, basically, in shape. And it contains a bunch of things that move around, little actuators, and they have mirrors on them and filters and such like. And there is one thing that has been kind of acting up when it gets very cold. So we've never been able to really diagnose it properly because it doesn't get that cold all the time. One of these intermittent issues. So we'll put it in the freezer just to see whether we manage to reproduce the problem. So that will be happening shortly. I think this week it will come down this coming week. And I went up to the telescope with Chris Johnson about 10 days ago to do a bunch of smaller software, mostly software things. So, you know, your typical, basically, summer regime and maintenance. And while we were there, we had to go into lightning shutdown 3 times, I think, because there were, you know, electrical storms around with a little bit of rain here and there, but not that much. So the usual.
Is there a fire hazard? Are people super worried about fire because of the lack of rain?
Well, actually, they reduced the level of fire precautions because it did rain a little bit. But if I'm talking about little rain, what this means is that over this so-called monsoon season, there may have been 3 inches. That's it on the mountain. So that really isn't much. And that brings the grand total to about 9 inches since January. So yeah, we are in a desert, so you know it's not all that surprising. It's just that yeah. So they reduced the regime, the precautions a little bit because at the beginning of the summer, it was prohibited even to do things like road grading because that creates sparks, right? So quite a lot of stuff had to be put on hold because of that. Now, with the slight relaxing of those rules, they actually started working on the road again, which is wonderful because the road is in pretty bad shape yet again. After last year, they did some work on it. They put some, I think they called it asphalt millings or something like that. So basically, they sort of paved a bit of the road, but not very well, so that in fact the millings took on the shape of all the ruts and various types of other bumps on the road that were there to begin with. So
this is Paul. This is the access road or the state road?
No, it's the state road I'm talking
about. I know the access road has always been in better shape than the state road.
Yeah, definitely over the last decade or so, the access road has been really well maintained, but I'm afraid the dirt portion of the state route 366 is just a disaster. So I haven't lost any teeth yet, but that's good. You know, it feels like that sometimes when you drive along that road. Anyway, the other thing that has been happening when it comes to this infrastructure is that MGIO, the Mount Graham International Observatory, which is the support group, installed a new, I think, 1.5 megawatt generator on the mountain. That's a major undertaking, and I think this coming week they will be they'll bring in some certified people to hook it up and you know, verify that it's all done, doing what it's supposed to.
This is mostly a backup generator, right? Because you do get power from off the grid as well.
Exactly. But the thing is that we need to be prepared for a backup, for the need to use a backup for extended periods of time. Last year, as you probably recall, the power line coming up the mountain basically exploded in one place. There was a splice in it that got water, and it was nasty. So for about 3 or 4 months, we were running on generator, and the old generator that dates back to the early 90s basically isn't equipped to do that anymore, especially not for a long period of time. So that's why we realized that we actually needed to bring in an entirely new generator, and so it's very cheap. It's only about I think $500,000. So we're very happy, and the price will be somehow stretched out over I don't know how many decades, so we don't have to pay for the entire cost at once, which is nice.
And we're not paying the whole load. We're paying our 1/7.
We are paying basically 10%. Yeah, something like that. So
when does observing start again? When do people actually start using the telescope?
Well, the first thing that's scheduled is a training session that I'll hold for a couple of students from the Arizona State University, and that will be on the 12th of September. We haven't got anything else before that because there is a good chance that, in fact, the monsoon won't be over even, by the 12th. In the last few years we've had late starts. So anyway,
all right.
The other good thing that happened, and since I see Larry here, I need to ask him why he wasn't there. There was this wonderful meeting organized by the Catalina Sky Survey for mostly asteroid people. But this meeting happened immediately after the first big Vera Rubin meeting. So the Vera Rubin telescope, as you know, is this wonderful new thing that does essentially a survey of the sky kind of twice a week. It surveys the whole sky. The Vera Rubin Observatory is being commissioned. It will start operations, regular operations in the fall. And there was this big event launching it a few weeks ago. You may have seen that. But the science community met in Tucson at the end of July. And then they continued, at least a part of those people continued at a meeting that had to do with asteroids in particular. So that's why I'm asking Larry why he wasn't there. But basically,
Mark Trueblood was there to represent us. So
right. He was waving a little flag all the time. Yes, yes.
So he has been keeping us updated.
It was exciting. In fact, it looks like everything will change, of course, with Vera Rubin. The Vera Rubin itself will be doing a lot of discovery, but there will be even more need for follow-up, basically, than before. So that was a part of the things that were discussed, and it looks like, there is an interest from these colleagues to use the VAT for this kind of work. It's a bit of luck, perhaps, so they will actually pay for the time. But who knows? I can dream on, right?
Right. Well, it is unusual that, telescopes of our size and our vintage are very unusual. Most of the telescopes of our size are very much older than ours, and a lot of them have been shut down due to lack of funding. So I think the VAT is going to become actually more important in the next 10 or 20 years for doing work exactly like this, simply because, look at all the telescopes on Kitt Peak that don't operate anymore because there just isn't the funding to keep them running.
Yeah, that's certainly the case of the 83-inch, or whatever you call it. It's the 2.1 meter telescope. It used to be a workhorse, and now it's kind of doing pretty much nothing, which is really a shame. If you look at the telescopes used by the Catalina Sky Survey, they have been kept up fairly nicely, and these are 1.5 meter, so 60-inch telescopes. So there's basically two of them, plus they refurbished a Schmidt camera very nicely, so we're putting a very large CCD array inside it. The weirdness of Schmidt cameras is that you need a very large, relatively speaking, a very large detector.
Camera. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, within our funding and within our motivation, some of these telescopes are working. Now, one of the things that happened at that meeting was that this was an occasion to bring in people who have telescopes around here that are kind of underused or not used at all. So, for instance, there is this Fairborn Observatory, not too far from Mark Trueblood's place, in the southern bit of Santa Rita Mountains, and it has a 2-meter telescope. Right? This is a kind of a citizen science thing that was connected to a gentleman who is still around, but not in very good shape. Basically, he worked this thing with a group at the University of Tennessee, and that group has been disbanded a few years ago. So now essentially that telescope does nothing. So who knows? It's an interesting landscape with all these semi-disused telescopes, and hopefully some of them at least will be taken over. Nowadays, the only kind of government funding that seems to be coming forward has to do with planetary defense, which, in other words, asteroid work. So maybe under that heading, there will be at least one or two of these things kind of repurposed, and
Okay.
who knows?
Well, I'm looking at the clock, and I know people have things to do. What I have to do is go to sleep.
So
I'm scheduled.
You're in New Zealand now, you said?
I'm in New Zealand. It's 10 to 5 in the morning.
Oh,
At about 5 hours from now, I'm being picked up to go to a church, first for Sunday Mass, followed by a talk that I'll be giving.
Oh, it's
And
Sunday
then
already?
on Sunday, it's a talk at the parish after the main Mass of the day.
Okay. It's Saturday here. At least I think it is.
Indeed. On Monday, I actually gave a talk at a dark sky site here in New Zealand on Friday. I've spoken to a number of school groups. I spoke to something they called World Youth Day of Auckland, where if your world is Auckland, New Zealand, you were there. But I was reminded during our summer school, one of the students at our summer school came up and said, "You realize I saw you when you spoke in Auckland, New Zealand, and I was in high school, and you spoke at my high school." So what we say comes back to haunt us. Anyway,
Sometimes
thanks.
in a good way.
Right. Thanks, everybody. Just as a foreshadowing of things to come, our hope and plan is for next month to have this meetup with Richard D'Souza, the new director of the Vatican Observatory. So you can find out what he's all about. And until then, keep looking up.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you.
Take
Yeah,
care.
we talked about the funding of the telescope, and that's all thanks to you. So thank you all for everything you do to keep the VAT in excellent shape.
Paul, thank you, Guy. Bye-bye.
Great. See you
Thanks,
later.
Bob. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you
Bye,
very much.
Chris.
Bye, Bob. Talk soon.